So lately, as I've been going through different credit cards and seeing these significant changes happening recently in the credit card game, I've caught myself wondering, are cards on Team Cashback becoming more valuable than cards on Team Travel? Now, I'm already anticipating that some people will hear that question and see that as a controversial statement just by itself. However, I see different shifts happening in this meta. And I think that there are enough things going on that it at least requires a dialogue to go back and forth on it to see what's really the best strategy here these days. I have a ton of thoughts to share on this topic, so let's dive right on in. Travel credit cards used to be the gold standard, the go-to for points lovers and even casual vacationers who wanted to turn their normal spending into trips that they could take for heavily discounted prices or even for free. This just got more intense during the pandemic, when travel was down and banks, airlines, and hotels would do whatever they could to get people out of the house and back using their products. Some of the offers and benefits that we are seeing at these times were absolutely incredible. However, in recent months, I've noticed something that I'm not a huge fan of, and it seems to be getting worse, not better. Today, I want to tell you about what I'm seeing, why cashback may be making a massive comeback, and tell you where I stand here looking forward with all of what's been going on recently. First of all, let me share with you the ways that travel credit cards are objectively getting worse. I'll tell you, everything that you've been seeing is not just in your head. Here's the tangible proof behind what you're actually feeling with your cards. First, annual fees are creeping higher and at a disproportionately accelerating rate. Let's dive in and look at United, for example, probably our most recent family of changes. United has 3 cards with annual fees, and all of them took a jump. What about Delta Airlines? This was not as recent, but still within the last 2 or so years that the Delta SkyMiles family all experienced a very similar jump in annual fees as well. And it's not isolated to just airlines. Hilton and their partners at Amex also introduced something very similar, jumping annual fees very proportionally to what we saw with United and Delta. I wish I could say it stopped there, but it's infiltrated general travel cards as well. Whether you think of the Amex Gold as a food and dining or as a travel credit card, well, that experienced an annual fee hike too. And it's not a surprise when you put all of this together that the rumors are going crazy that the Amex Platinum or the Chase Sapphire Reserve could be bumped up maybe significantly at any moment. Now, what does this mean for you and me? Well, if you're on Team Travel, there are probably many different ways you can reasonably and honestly justify the expense of these cards for the value that you're going to be able to get in return. However, if you're a card enthusiast, it probably means that you're juggling less cards than you normally would have before and finding you have to work harder or be more intentional to extract the same amount of value if you're going to attempt to keep your wallet set up intact. The second key factor is that perks that you're used to having are now decreasing in their value and they're becoming increasingly difficult to actually make use of. So you've probably noticed this one. The new credits that are coming out with these enhanced card offerings are more restrictive, they're more difficult to use, they're more frequent, and honestly, they're just annoying. The perfect case study for this is our most recent family of changes in the United credit card lineup. It's quite easy to see that Chase and United were inspired by Amex's coupon book strategy because the United cards took on the exact same template. Let's look at United's Quest card and some of the credits that were added in there for a $100 jump in the annual fee. For instance, and this one really annoys me, let's look at the Avis and Budget Rent-A-Car credit, an $80 credit that supposedly will return value to offset the annual fee. However, if you read the fine print, you receive $40 in United Travel Bank cash, up to $80 each anniversary year from your first and your second Avis or Budget rental car booked directly through cars.united.com and paid for with your United Quest card. Now they're making you do 2 full purchases to get your value back. You have to use a specific booking site, and that credit is not credited in the form of statement credit, which you actually get benefit from immediately. It's credited to you in the form of United Travel Bank cash, which you then have to use separately in a different purchase later to actually get your value back. Or how about another one, which is almost worse, a $150 credit for JSX, which is a private charter jet. That's laughable as well. Who are these credits for? Yet United takes credit for those and says, hey, we're giving you more, and that's why it's a justifiable annual fee. They have the audacity to publish things on their site like they're packing over $2,000 of value into their premium credit card, yet a lot of that supposed value that you're seeing is in kind of fake or misleading or at least very difficult to use credits at the bare minimum, like the ones I just displayed. Let's talk about another problem. Point devaluations are a real thing, and while they may not be rapidly happening, they're happening behind the scenes and fairly consistently. Airlines are often adjusting award charts without notice. Delta recently devalued SkyMiles in a pretty big way in 2023, and United's dynamic pricing model has made it a little bit harder to find sweet spots within that program. Southwest, back when I had their Plus card, used to be able to find pretty consistent 1.5 cent per point values for flight redemptions, which was a really quality redemption. Now I'm seeing a lot more 1.2 to 1.3 cent per point redemptions unless you get really lucky. As for hotels, well, Marriott recently devalued their Bonvoy points program, whereas what was once an untouchable Castle on a Hill, our Hyatt World of Hyatt program, they've even updated their award charts and boosted a lot of properties into a higher tier category, thus making the value you're getting for your points a little bit less there as well. Issue number 4 is that travel portals are being pushed more than ever. Issuers want you booking through their portals almost 100% of the time. Chase, Capital One, Amex, it doesn't matter. All of them will make it by far and away a more beneficial method for you to book if you decide to go through their portal as opposed to directly through the hotel or the airline you want to book with. For hotels, this often comes with the choice between maintaining status and getting perks based on your loyalty there, or booking at a higher redemption rate on the card that you have. And some people just don't like being forced to book through portals because of the customer service difficulties it can have if you have to make a last second change or alter your flight. Finally, and I've talked about this extensively, but lounge overcrowding is now the new normal. Lounge access used to be a hallmark of any of these travel cards. Now it's pretty much bundled through the form of Priority Pass into every single premium travel card, and that's just decreased the quality and the experience for everybody once walking inside. Good luck trying to find a nice Priority Pass lounge, and if you happen to have premium lounge access through a branded lounge, well, you may not even be able to get inside. So yeah, between those 5 significant points, team travel has certainly taken a hit. But that is not all. At the same time all of this has been happening, I've noticed that team cashback is really having a moment. First of all, new players are entering the cashback game, while the old trusty veterans that have always been in cashback, well, they're at least staying the same or getting better. The Robinhood Gold Card may not be the best example, considering that it's still rolling out across the country. However, it marks something significant in that cashback cards and companies that want to deal in cashback, they're pushing the envelope even more for customers instead of going the other way. When Robinhood did unlimited 3% cashback, that was a significant moment, and other banks have their own surplus cashback programs. Bank of America's Preferred Rewards allows you to establish a relationship with BOA, and you can access a 75% boost and earn up to 5.25% on the BOA customized cash rewards card for online shopping. If you're into unlimited cashback, you can earn up to 2.625% with BOA's unlimited cash rewards card and their preferred reward status enabled. Those are seriously good, and investments through BOA can count towards that relationship status, which is just a good thing if you're financially minded, like a lot of you all are. Finally, I also look specifically at cards like the Fidelity 2% Signature Visa, and this card has only gotten better and better, even though the annual fee, which is $0, hasn't changed. More benefits have come onto the card, making it just a stronger cashback offering now than it was just a few years ago. The second thing about cashback cards is simplicity is getting more and more valuable every single day. Cashback doesn't require a spreadsheet, which, here's a shameless plug, you can head on over to rdguarantee.com/guides and pretty much find a spreadsheet to help you with any of your travel credit card needs completely for free. However, if you're in Team Cashback, you probably don't need to spend time tracking your cards, calculating cent per point value. You just earn cash back, redeem cash back, and get value from it immediately. Point number 3 in favor of cashback is the instant gratification that it always seems to offer. Cashback on almost any type of card can really be used immediately. You're not sitting there on 100,000 travel points just praying that they haven't lost 25% of their value because your intended redemption that you were saving up for just got hit with a nerf. With cashback, you could simply throw your $250 sign-up bonus and use it immediately as statement credit, or throw it into an IRA and invest it, and either way, it's working for you right out of the gate. Finally, let's talk card management. Oftentimes, if you get into the travel credit card game, well, your wallet is ballooning up to 8 to 10 cards, sometimes even more, and that can take some real time and real concentration to actually manage to make sure you're getting good value from every card you've put in there. For Team Cashback, the setups are often a lot simpler, for better or for worse. You could certainly get by with just 1 to 2 cards, and oftentimes a strong cashback wallet setup will include less than 4 cards total. Okay, now that you've heard both sides of the argument and seen the trends as to where things are going, I have to mention one more thing about travel credit cards before I give you my current status for where I'm at and where I think a lot of people should be heading throughout the rest of the year. And that main caveat in favor of travel credit cards are that sign-up bonuses are still king. Travel credit cards have been decreasing in so many different ways. However, what hasn't changed in this day and age are that sign-up bonuses are still dominant in favor of travel cards, and sometimes they're getting more and more outrageous by the day. It is not uncommon, if you have the patience and can do it within the next year, to find a 100,000 point sign-up bonus on your favorite Amex, Chase, or Capital One credit card. Oftentimes, this is straight up $1,000 to $2,000 plus in value, depending on how you want to redeem that. And if you're smart about it, you can use the card, do a break-even analysis on it in years 2 or 3. And if you're just not getting the value that you wanted, either cancel it or downgrade it to a $0 product and really make out with a massive haul of value just through a simple churning strategy. So let me give you my take, where I stand today, and where I think the opportunity is going forward. Here right now, I personally team hybrid. My bottom philosophy is I think you need to go ahead and earn elevated cashback where it makes sense in your regular spending categories. However, where you're going to get the most muscle and bang for your buck is still by far and away in team travel. As long as you're willing to put the work in, the value is clearly there. This is the setup that I'm currently running. I use my VentureX card for hotels and flights booked through Capital One Travel on simple itineraries. I'll also use that card for a flat 2x miles back on pretty much every non-category purchase I make. I flip over to my Sapphire Preferred in dining and select streaming, and then on Team Cashback, I'll take advantage of the PayPal debit and the Citi Custom Cash for 5% back in groceries and at the gas station respectively. Finally, I'll split and dabble in cashback some more with my Discover It card in the 5% rotating categories when it makes sense, and I'll flex over to the Chase Freedom Flex for more Chase Ultimate Rewards points when it makes sense in those rotating categories. And my buddy Rob, who's an equal credit card enthusiast and has been in this game for as long as I have, is following a similar strategy. He's personally working on that Bank of America preferred reward system, but also flexes in a VentureX, Amex Gold, and took advantage of the 100,000 Chase Sapphire preferred offer, which really shows the value of the sign-up bonuses and diversifying a strong travel card system. All that's to say, the people who are deep into this game still see tons of value in team travel, but just realistically, it makes more and more sense to dabble in team hybrid and add some of those top flight cashback cards to your mix. Otherwise, you're missing out on some real value that's just easy, low-hanging fruit to get. It is honestly nice to be able to pivot too between travel and cashback because you never know what life brings, and sometimes you may need to pull the cashback lever and have some cash in hand that's really easy and accessible to work with. With all that being said, I'd love to hear your personal thoughts on the current state of things in the credit card game, and also what your strategy is with your own wallet. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.